Hey, what's going on guys, Chris here, and today I'm going to be running over the legendary M1911 pistol in Battlefield 1, which is a secondary weapon and can be equipped on pretty much all of the main class loadouts alongside your primary gun. So if you've ever played a Battlefield game before, then you'll probably already be familiar with the M1911. Featuring in almost all of the previous Battlefield games, it's a classic American pistol, designed by John Browning. And despite it being such an old firearm, the M1911 is still being produced, and modern versions of the gun are still being used by some military forces today. In the early 1900s, the US Army conducted a series of trials to find a suitable, new service pistol which fired in semi-auto and utilised a round no less than .45 caliber. Several different self-loading pistol designs were submitted, but the Colt M1911, which was based on the earlier Model 1900 design, completely blew away the competition. 6,000 rounds from a single pistol were fired over the course of 2 days, with no recorded problems or malfunctions whatsoever. And so the M1911 passed the test with a 100% grade, leading it straight into the US Army the year after. Because it was chambered for the .45 ACP cartridge, a heavier, more damaging round, many troops referred to the M1911 as the man-stopper. And despite its strong recoil, it proved to be a reliable, sturdy pistol which helped it survive throughout the many battles it faced, seeing action in both World Wars and most of the major conflicts over the 20th century. Although the M1911 is a bit of an outdated handgun nowadays, and has since been replaced by the Beretta M9 as the standard US sidearm in 1986, it's still a very popular pistol, and several variants of it, including the improved M1911A1, are still in service in up to 30 different countries today. The M1911 is the granddad of the modern handgun, and down to its exceptional performance and high stopping power, it's often considered to be one of the greatest and most successful semi-automatic pistols ever created. So in Battlefield 1, for a semi-auto pistol, it's got a solid overall damage output, with a maximum of 35 up to 6 meters, which is going to drop down over distance to its minimum of 15 beyond 33 meters. This basically means that you can drop an enemy player in just 3 bullets up to 11 meters, though it could take up to 7 rounds to kill someone at those longer ranges. This heavy amount of damage actually gives the M1911 a bit of an advantage in CQC, especially when compared to most of the other semi-auto handguns, as it can kill in 1 less bullet than the P08 and the C96 up close, despite them having the same rates of fire. Speaking of fire rates, the gun's going to shoot at 300 RPM, which is much faster than your typical revolver, but also slower than other pistols like the MLE M1903, which utilises a slightly weaker bullet. This balances out its damage and speed quite nicely, ensuring that the gun can deal a strong amount of damage up close, along with having a reasonable fire rate to allow for follow-up shots. You might not be able to spam the trigger and pepper your targets with .45 caliber rounds, but that high damage up close will definitely help to finish weakened players off and take them out in less bullets. And if your shots are accurate enough, the M1911 can even outgun some of the medic rifles in head-to-head battles up close too, with its slightly quicker kill time. Now, although the gun deals more damage than other similar semi-auto pistols, and has a pretty reasonable rate of fire, it does fall victim to having a bit of a jumpy recoil pattern as a trade-off, with it having an upwards figure of 2.3 and a horizontal movement of 0.7. This is more than most of the other semi-auto pistols, apart from the Mars Automatic. With a lower accuracy and stability than the average handgun, this means that shots can quite often miss as the gun bounces around with its powerful kick. In CQC, this usually isn't a massive problem, and that stronger damage output can often compensate for a missed shot. Though this recoil pattern can definitely become more of a problem against opponents further away, as not only will it take more bullets to kill, but it'll be more difficult to accurately land shots quickly. You might be able to kill in 1 less bullet at closer ranges, but once your target lies beyond around about 16 meters, its damage model becomes very similar to a lot of the other, more accurate pistols, which are usually going to perform a bit better against opponents further away. The M1911's muzzle velocity is actually slower than average, with a bullet speed of 250 meters per second, so this is probably going to make it seem even harder to use at range. Not only will you have to lead targets slightly more, but you'll also have to do this while contending with that jumpy recoil. So this makes it more challenging to accurately land shots properly, and because of these factors, it's probably not going to perform quite as well at longer ranges than a lot of the other handguns like the P08. Magazine size is pretty standard, with the M1911 holding a total of 8 rounds. Being able to kill in 3 shots up close, you can quite often take out a couple of enemies in a single mag. At medium to longer distances, one magazine will usually be enough to kill, with only 7 bullets needed to drop another player over all ranges. Though that recoil will most likely put a few shots off target, and so you might have to reload mid-gunfight when taking on an opponent with full health. But thankfully, the M1911 is one of the quickest sidearms to reload, and being a magazine-fed weapon, this will be a hell of a lot quicker than the revolvers, and slightly faster than most of the other pistols in the game too. So overall, the M1911 deals an impressive amount of damage in CQC, making it one of the most powerful semi-auto pistols in the game, being able to kill in one less bullet than most of the others up close. This increased damage does come at a price though, with the gun having a less accurate or stable recoil pattern, and combined with a generally low muzzle velocity, it means that the M1911 probably won't perform quite as well outside those closer proximities. However, being able to hold a decent amount of bullets and having one of the quickest reload times of all the secondary weapons, this allows it to perform pretty well at both taking on and finishing off players in battle. And although its sometimes erratic recoil pattern might put some shots off target, it's quite a reliable weapon and one of the strongest semi-auto sidearms for close quarter gunfights. But anyway, that's all for this one guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for tons more content coming soon. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in that next one.